For All presents Daily Food Series, Galatians, the only gospel, the gospel of Christ. Title of Book 1, Following the Spirit to Fulfill God's Work, by Pedro. Week 2, Christ gave himself to uproot us from this evil world. Friday, the one that God sends. Read with prayer. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace toward me was not in vain. But I labored more abundantly than they all. Yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. Let us read the first verse of the letter to the Galatians. Paul, an apostle, not from men, nor through man, but through Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead. Galatians chapter 1, verse 1. The word apostle means sent one. A sent one is a messenger, someone who delivers a message or fulfills the mission of the one who sent him. Thus, a sent one has the authority of the one who sent him. As mentioned in this verse, an apostle is not sent by men, but through Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead. Throughout the Bible, we see that God, when doing his work and transmitting his word, uses a channel, a man. He uses and sends a man to speak and carry out his work. However, men look at the one sent by God just as a man and begin to have doubts about the message he conveys, whether it is indeed a message from God. This happened in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. Moses was someone educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in words and deeds. That is, he was someone highly capable. Acts chapter 7, verse 22. When he was 40 years old, he thought he could save his people by his own ability. Verses 23 through 25. Although he was being prepared by God, at that time Moses had not yet been sent by him, so he had no authority to do God's work. If God has not sent someone, there is no point in that person using their own ability. Moses fled Egypt and spent 40 years in the desert of Midian. Already at an advanced age, at 80 years old, without believing in his own abilities, he was called and sent by God. Moses saw a bush burning with fire, but not being consumed, and went to see what it was. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. Then Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. Exodus chapter 3, verses 2 and 3. This was already a sign from God to him. The bush was not the fuel that fed the fire. Likewise, power does not come from man, but from God, because he does not need to use our abilities as fuel. God did not send Moses when he was 40 years old and felt capable, but rather when he was 80 years old, when all of his capacity had already ended. Verses 10 and 11. God only uses a person as a channel after he knows himself and knows that he is not capable of carrying out God's work. God said to Moses, I will certainly be with you, and this shall be a sign to you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said to God, Indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Verses 12 through 14. My dear believer, if God does not send you, do not dare say that you were sent by God, because we will give an account to him of all our actions. The following verses show Moses' reluctance and how God encouraged him by promising him that he would put in his mouth what he should speak. Then Moses said to the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant. But I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. So the Lord said to him, who has made man's mouth? Or who makes the mute, the deaf, the seeing, or the blind? Have not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall say. But he said, O my Lord, please send by the hand of whoever else you may send. So the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak well. And look, he is also coming out to meet you. When he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. Now you shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth. And I will be with your mouth and with his mouth. And I will teach you what you shall do. So he shall be your spokesman to the people. And he himself shall be as a mouth for you, and you shall be to him as God. And you shall take this rod in your hand, with which you shall do the signs. Exodus chapter 4, verses 10 through 17. This is the principle for all those whom God sends. The word that comes from the mouth of God's sent one is God's word.